really just a day in the life of the dumb bitch show. Hey guys, what's up? It's me. I'm standing to film this, which feels like so weird. This just feels so unnatural. Like I don't know what to do. So I'm gonna just tell y'all about how my summer's been going. If you follow me on Instagram, which if you're not, you should be. It's right here. And Live AF, I live stream. Sometimes I really haven't done it in like a solid month and a half. It's just, I don't know what to fucking do on there. I've been having a really, really fun summer, like too fun of a summer considering I'm low-key unemployed. I mean, I do the brand ambassador gigs, but that's touch and go. And right now, there's like not shit happening in Austin because no one is contacting me to do events. So I'm gonna have to find a real job. Anyway, like I said, if you follow me on Instagram, you will notice that sometimes I post Slutty Summer. I'm going to explain what that means real quick. Basically, Slutty Summer is an inside joke because me and these girls became friends like 2 months ago, I'd say, month and a half ago about, and we realized that we're all single, which is just crazy for a friend group of like 6 or 7 girls to all be single at the exact same time. So just joking around, we're like, oh my god, we're gonna have a slutty summer, like we're single, which basically just means do what you want. If you want to kiss a boy, kiss a boy. If you want to get a guy's number, get a guy's number. Like, just do it up. Like, we're just not focusing on like trying to find potential boyfriends' husbands this summer. Like, we're just doing it big, slutty summer, you know? And I feel like I've really been doing slutty summer big. Like, I've really been doing all that I can. No, that doesn't mean I'm sleeping around. I honestly, can't even remember the last time I had sex, because once you hear all these stories of the boys that I have tried to talk to, tried to pursue, and it's all blown up in my face, you'll realize mama's not getting laid. It's not even like my prerogative to be out there like trying to get laid or whatever. I just am definitely not looking for like a real connection with someone. And this is the first time in my life that I've had a mindset where I do not want to find that connection, you know, when you're talking and then you're having sex, whatever. I just don't want that at all. That just feels like so much pressure to me. And I've only been officially super single, for lack of better words, for 3 months since me and 35-year-old guy ended things. That's still done. We haven't seen each other since. That's not a thing. And that's not to say that I wouldn't want it to be a thing. It's just that he doesn't want it to be a thing. So here we are. I feel like he's gonna watch this video and be pissed about these stories, hearing about me flirting with other dudes. But what do you want from me? If you don't want to be with me, you can't get mad at me for then me going out and living my best life. Because even though him and I never had a label on things and I could have been doing everything I wanted, I could have been doing all these things I'm about to tell you while I was with him. But to me, that's wrong. That's not loyal. That's gross. I don't want to have my feelings invested in 35-year-old guy. I'd be having sex with 35-year-old guy and then be gallivanting around town with my friends. So if me and 35-year-old guy were still on, this slutty summer wouldn't be happening for me in the way that it is. But he doesn't want to be with me, so this is the result of that. Me being super single and acting like it. And honestly, it's been so fun. And like I said, I'm not sleeping around. Really, I feel like this has been the most celibate period of my life ever. So go me, I'm proud. But I just have a couple stories to share with y'all, and y'all love story time, so let's get into it. First little story. This was a few weeks ago. This was one of those nights that's a bad night. You crying in the club, you blow up a dude's phone, just something happens, or the next morning you wake up and you're embarrassed and you feel ashamed. So I had one of those nights, a really bad night for multiple reasons. Don't want to go into all the reasons because I don't want to relive it. At the end of the day, it's really nothing that's that big of a deal. It's just in the moment when you're drunk and then you wake up the next day hungover and you're like, why did I do that? Why did that happen? Why am I a dumb bitch? Like I said, this is the dumb bitch show. Should I change the name of this channel? So I don't need to go into all these details, but one of the key parts of that night, which was shitty, was backstory first. I have a really, really good guy friend named Rob. He's in my Instagram stories and shit a lot. And I don't have to hide his identity because he's my friend. So I have a really good guy friend named Rob, and obviously when you have friends, you meet their friends. And one of his friends who I've met several times is this guy who from the second I met him, I just thought he was amazing. And the thing is, he's not even that good looking of a guy. All of my girlfriends have been what, why? He's not that cute. You could do worlds better. And I'm yeah, I could if everything in the world revolved around looks, but he's super funny. He makes me laugh. He laughs at my jokes. were on the same playing field when it came to like banter and fucking with each other. Like we just really vibed. So from the first time I met him, I really, really liked him. Like the definition of having a crush on someone, because I don't know him well. I don't hang out with him outside of when I see Rob. Never hung out with him outside of a bar setting. It's just someone who I run into because of mutual friends every time that I'm out drinking. Literally don't even have this guy's number. That's how technically irrelevant he is. But I have expressed interest to him, and he has received that interest. Like, the first time I met him, he added me on Instagram, and he DM'd me to, like, be messaging, and I totally thought he was single, and I totally thought he was about it, and we were gonna, like, hook up or something would happen eventually. But then the same night that I met him, he told me that he was still having sex with his ex-girlfriend, and they had only just broken up, as in, like, days ago. So like, if you've only been single for a few days, like we all know how that shit goes, you're not even close to being done with that ex. Like you and that ex are gonna get back together like 500 times before you finally realize that you actually weren't good together. So I was like, okay, fuck that, like I'm not gonna fuck with that. And he was like, and I don't wanna fuck with it because I would feel guilty pursuing you or hooking up with you if that ever happened while I'm still involved with her on and off, whatever. So I was like, okay, no heat. But he told me I was cool, I was attractive, basically acted like if his ex wasn't still in the picture, he would 100% be about me. Like, I'm not delusional. Like, I can be a dumb bitch at times, we can all, but he really made it seem like he liked me as much as I liked him. There was just this ex-girlfriend factor that was ruining everything. So this goes on for like, I don't know, maybe like a month and a half, where every time I see him, we talk and we just kind of flirt and have our little banter and whatever, it's all fun and games. Who gives a fuck? So a couple weeks ago, the bad night that happened, one of my real good friends in my girl group has a friend coming from out of town who's like her long-term friend. Like they've been best friends for like 6 or 7 years or something. So this girl comes into town, obviously we all like her, we're receptive to her. Like the girl who's my friend is like my best friend in the friend group. So this being her friend, like I love all extensions of her. So that kind of adds to the story that it happens to be like my best friend in the group's friend. So this girl comes out with us, blah, blah, blah. We end up running into Rob and his friends, as we always do because we frequent the same bars. And honestly, I just want to say that the real adult world, at least for me, has been so much facier and whatever than college ever was. Like going to the bars and seeing the same people and over again and being like, oh my god, have you heard the drama? He fucked her and she likes him. It's like literally like being in college all over again, except everyone is like 27 to 35. I'm like the baby of the group. I'm only 24. Everyone is older than me. So I'm like, is this like real life? This is just how life goes. Like I didn't realize that it was so facey. And if you go to the same bars over and over again, like there are people that frequent those bars and you will get to know those regulars. I don't know. It's so weird to me. It's literally more of a social life than I ever even had at FSU. Like it blows my fucking mind. So my good friend's friend comes out with us. It's all going well. I kind of noticed that the dude who I've been into for a month and a half is like talking to her a lot, but I don't think anything of it because, oh, he's being friendly, like he wants her to feel comfortable because she's visiting from out of town. So they're talking a lot, and I'm starting to kind of notice that it might be a little more than friendly because he's like only paying her any attention, blah, 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 whatever. Kind of is annoying to me because I'm just a dumb bitch and I'm kind of jealous. Like, what the fuck? Like, you've been acting like you're into me for so long, and now you're just instantly talking to this other girl, like, you know, just because he made it. Men are stupid. It just really pisses me off. Anyway, we switch bars. We're like in a club now, like dark strobe lights, whatever. And moral of the story, let's speed up a little bit. By the end of the night, him and the girl, who's the friend of my friend, end up making out in the club. Literally right in front of me. Like when I say this is me and this is them, like literally like 2 feet away from me, just like, oh hey y'all, fucking making out right in front of me. And obviously the friend of the friend doesn't know that he's been flirting with me for a month and a half and that I've had this crush on him, blah, 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 whatever. So it's all on him. Like, he's a fuck. Like, to do this with me there in general is kind of shitty. Like, if you had told me before, like, hey, I'm actually not into you or whatever, then, like, okay, cool. But you weren't. You were acting like you were into me, and you were claiming that the only reason you weren't making out with me in the club was because of your fucking ex-girlfriend. Guess that's not true. Guess you're a fuckboy liar. Guys are fucking weird sometimes. They don't make sense to me. So I obviously get upset. I don't cry or anything dramatic. I don't blow up his phone. I don't freak out on the girl. It's nothing like that. It's just my entire mood for the rest of the night changed. Like, I ended up going home by like 1 a.m. because I was just so over it, and everyone else had a great night, lasted all night, and like, good for them. But I had such a bad night. I was in such a bad headspace, and I just remember bitching and whining so much about him making out with her. Like a whole hour of me just off my rocker, pissed as fuck, like not happy. And like obviously alcohol is a factor. If this had happened while I was sober, I would be like, that's kind of shitty, but I wouldn't do anything about it. But since I was highly intoxicated, trust me when I say that, because of the other things that happened that night, which I don't even want to fucking get into. But all the things that happened that night would not have happened if I wasn't like close to fucking blacking out. So like eat before you drink. But that was also a huge drinking day. We went out at like 5 or 6 p.m. and were out like all night. So by 1 a.m. that I went home, I'd already been drinking for like 7 hours. So like, come on, like what do you think is gonna happen? Obviously I'm fucking wasted. So I was just pissed as fuck about it, which I think I have every right to. Like put yourself in my shoes. Like, do you think I'm crazy, or do you think that's fucked up to like flirt with me every time you see me, act like you're interested in me, add me on social media, tell me that the only reason we're not kissing or you're not pursuing me or texting me to hang out is because of your ex who's really important to you, and you're such a good, respectful guy that you don't want to be having sex with your ex while having sex with someone else. Like totally played it off like he's the man and he's going about this the right way, right? Guess not, because he made out with the other girl within like an hour of knowing her. So like that's cool, right? So I DM'd him, obviously pissed, and I just said like, yo, I'm just letting you know like that's obviously disrespectful. If you don't think that's disrespectful, you're crazy, because you've been leading me on, you've been showing interest, and the second this other girl comes around, you're just, oh my god. It was a genuine reaction to this bug flying in the window. Sorry. Like, put yourself in my shoes. It is shitty. So I DM'd him, told him it was disrespectful. Just kind of like, what the fuck? Like, you could have at least not made out with her in front of my face. Like, come on. It's like you were trying to just purposefully be a dick to me when I've never done anything to you. So I DM'd him that, and then he DM'd me back the next morning and was like, sorry, I just don't like you like that. Well, this is the fucking first I'm hearing of that, because as far as everyone else is concerned, you are like attracted to me. There was even a time a few weeks before that I went out for my birthday, and this girl was there, and she went up to him and like talked to him about me, and he was like, oh yeah, she's a really cool, great girl. Like, I'm into her, I like her. And like maybe that girl lied about him saying that, but I don't know why the fuck you'd lie about that. So I don't know. That was just like a shitty night for me. Like, what the fuck is happening? Like, of course this would happen to me. So I was just like, I'm just gonna fucking go, because I'm a baby and I need to go the fuck home. And then the cherry on top of the cake was, because I reacted to it, not even in a bad way. I didn't cry, I didn't go up to him, I didn't do anything to the girl. I literally just DM'd him, which is private, to be like, hey, I think that was disrespectful, what the fuck. He thought that was crazy of me to care about him kissing another girl when him and I aren't a thing or whatever, which I get that, I get it's like, why does she care so much? Because, like I said, me and him don't even have each other's numbers. Like, he's someone I see at the bar, and there's just like this flirtation. So I can see both sides, how it's kind of like, why do you care that much? But also, that is shitty because you were being led on and you really were digging him. And he went and told all his friends, who are people I know through Rob, that I'm an insane person, basically. And the only reason I even found out that he was doing that was because I shared this story with a girlfriend who's in that friend group, in Rob's friend group, just like, oh my god, listen to the story of how blank did this shit to me. So I told her the story, and she was like, oh my god, that story makes so much more sense, because he's been telling my boyfriend and everyone else in our friend group that like you're just some crazy girl obsessed with him and whatever. I'm like, do you want to see the DMs? Because we would only talk through DM, like never even exchange numbers. I'm like, do you want to see the DMs where he told me I was cool and attractive and how the only reason was because of his ex? Because like, I have receipts, bitch. Like, I can be crazy and I will admit that, but in this moment, I fucking wasn't. And that's just one of like many crazy stories I have from the summer. That's like the most minor, because the next story is about how I met a dude at a bar who was friends with a dude on Hinge who I met up with at a bar, who was with his friend who I'd met before, who I ended up liking more than the Hinge guy. So I pursued that friend, only to then meet their other friend in their friend group who I liked more than the first two, which was definitely like a solid 24 hours of a little bit of drama. It definitely makes me look like a dumb hoe, but it's not like I was sleeping with all of them. I didn't even kiss the first two. So it's like, no heat, okay? Like, I didn't do anything wrong. I'm sorry your ego's bruised because I didn't like you the most. And there's the time that I met up with a dude from Bumble who tried to take me home with him after being out with me all night, even though he was literally trying to get with my friend right in front of me. Or there's the time just this past weekend that happened that I was on a boat with real fucking strippers / porn stars. And no, they were not for hire. So I have a lot of stories about my slutty summer. It's been going crazy, and I'm a long-winded storyteller, so this story ended up being longer than I thought it would be. So let's just make all these stories separate stories, shall we? I'll see you in the next video.